to come through, and you're still here in school. You didn't give up. You're going to get through this, the pandemic, the social unrest. I'm all for protest. I'm against any type of violence or looting. Even as a former retired Orange County sheriff, I'm against any of that. But I believe in the First Amendment that you should protest. But I will always tell students that participation is better. It's good to participate on the inside to help reform. We have the best criminal justice system in the world. And if we do have issues, and we do, we can always work to improve it. Just like with medicine, just like with education, just like with business, there's always issues, but we always work to improve it. And that's why I'm here today, is to share about Sierra University criminal justice. I'm Mr. Bell, B-E-L-L. And if any of you have any questions, please feel free to just pipe in or chat me, or just come on, just please, just jump into the conversation. I can talk all morning, all afternoon, and all night. So if any of you have any concerns or any questions relevant to what we're dealing with, please jump in. And I know a lot of you are concerned right now, but two things I'll tell you right now. Don't worry about it. The Lakers will win the championship, and the Dodgers will win the World Series. So I think that we got that out the way. I think we can all relax now. You guys can breathe, and we can fully engage here. I grew up in Los Angeles. I have 15 brothers and sisters. I grew up in South Side, working class neighborhood. Mom's teacher. Pops was a correctional officer. He went to USC, worked on his doctorate, USC, and did well in elementary, K through 5. I got to junior high school, and I don't know what happened to me, but I kind of got caught up in the streets, gang banging, slinging, running the streets, not going to school, and got moved around the 4 different middle schools, junior high schools. I got bused. We were bused, African-American children, Latino children. We were bused to the Valley. They were doing a social experiment, busing, which I thought was great because it really exposed me to a lot of different cultures. Even though we had to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go all the way to the Valley, San Fernando Valley. It was tough, but it was, the social interaction was great. Academically, it was kind of tough. I came back to the city when I got in high school. I went to a high school called Washington High School. And this is in the 80s, and this is in South Central Los Angeles, which was really one of the tough, bad areas of LA. And the high school I went to was really just, oh man, the high school was a sanctuary. All around the high school, we had the gang violence, crack, cocaine, because in the 80s, the only people that were using cocaine were celebrities, entertainers, and people that had the means to buy it. But what happened was that young men started mixing pure base cocaine with baking soda, and it produced crack, and it was really cheap, and it was a cheap high. And just like meth, it's that type of stimulant where you don't want to do anything. You don't want relationships. You don't want to eat. You don't want to go to work. All you want to do is get that high over and over and over again. So this is what we were dealing with. And so in the 80s and 90s, we lost a generation of young men throughout our nation to the crack epidemic and to the gang violence that came associated with it, because you had young men who were making $30,000 to $40,000 a week. But just like on Wall Street or any corporation, you got to protect your investment. And to protect their investment, they protected it with violence. And so therefore, I'm in my mid 50s, and here, I've been out of high school almost 34 years. When I talk to people who I went to high school with, most of my friends, unfortunately, a lot of them are in state prison, and a lot of them are either dead or a lot of them have died from the AIDS epidemic. And so really tough in the 80s. I graduated in 85, and my principal, George McKenna, marched with Martin Luther King. He was a great man. Just a tremendous individual. George McKenna inspired us to greatness. A school in the South Central, and McKenna, they did a movie about him, and I'll tell you a little bit about that, because the guy that did the movie, the actor, I used to bodyguard him. He's one of the top celebrities in the nation. And so anyway, I graduated in 85, and I got ready to go to college. And this is why it's important for all of you. I commend all of you for sticking through in these tough times, because 5 to 6 years from now, when you graduate from high school and you've gone on to Cal State or UC or La Sierra or Grand Canyon or NYU or Stanford or Yale, or wherever you may end up, and I hope all of you go to college, and even if you don't go to La Sierra and major in criminal justice, please do not waste this time. These years are so precious right now, and you've got to have your game plan. You've got to have your strategy. I want you guys to write down two things. Write this down. Two things that I live by. Two things. Well, number one, if you take care of business, your business will take care of you. Trust, I'm a living witness of this. If you take care of business, your business will take care of you. And then number two, the only person that can stop you is you. Now you say, Mr. Bell, that's simplistic. It is, but to actually execute that strategy, it can be difficult because you have to battle the forces, the negativity, or the people the naysayers who don't believe that you can accomplish your dreams, whether it's to become an entrepreneur or whether it's to go into the field of politics or medicine or engineering or criminal justice or education, whatever you so desire. My dad would tell me, you can do it. You just got to put the work into it and you've got to grind. You don't make excuses. You do what you have to do. At 17 years old, my dad, he kicked me out. He put me out because he and I butted heads and I was like, I'm out of here. And I left, which is probably one of the biggest mistakes I ever made in my life. But however, it made me who I am today. And yeah, listen, I suffered sleeping in cars, sleeping from couch to couch, and you know, but I got through it. I worked 3 jobs. I did what I had to do. Okay, took care of business. I didn't have time to party. I didn't have time to run the streets. I took care of business, and the business has taken care of me. I didn't let anybody get in my way. Nobody. I don't care. And please don't make excuses about your parents, your grandparents, and your neighborhood or who. Listen. The only person that can stop you is you. And so I had to go to community college. There's nothing wrong with going to community college. If you end up going to Mount San Jacinto or RCC or NERC, there's nothing wrong going to a career college and getting a trade, welding or HVAC. There's nothing wrong. Just do something positive, because I'm speaking to you this morning, but I speak to men and women, young men and women of all walks of life. I speak to young men and women who are men who are getting out of state prison. I speak to women who are getting out of state prison so that they don't reoffend, because we have one of the highest rates of recidivism in the state of California. I speak to juveniles at Juvenile Hall in LA, which is really horrific because you have these young children who are 12 to 17 years old, and unfortunately they've made that mistake. They've crossed that line where they'll never get out. As soon as they turn 18, they're going into state prison. So this is why I'm saying this is an opportunity for all of you to push, to grind, and to make it happen for yourselves. I went to community college because my reading and writing skills were so deficient from all the years that I wasted running the streets in middle school and early high school that I had to learn how to read and write all over. I had to take 3rd grade reading and writing. I had to start all over, okay? Because in criminal justice and public safety, the lifeblood of what we do, it's in writing. You got to know the who, the what, the when, the where, the how, and the why. And this is what we do. Okay. I know you see all the exciting stuff. You think, oh man, that was awesome. But every action that you take, you must write and justify why you did what you did. Okay. And so I went to community college, and it was it was amazing. And I went to Bible college, and then finally I kind of, I was working as a police cadet. I was working at Boys Market, which is now Ralph's. I was working as a courier, 3 jobs. I was just doing what I had to do. You grind. You don't make excuses. There's always going to be hurdles in life, and hurdles and obstacles, they only make you stronger and they make you tougher. Okay. And so I tried to get hired by LAPD, and they wouldn't hire me because I had issues. LA Sheriffs, I didn't pass the test. Inglewood PD rejected me. Long Beach PD, I didn't get in. LA Marshals offered me a job and then rescinded it because my credit was bad. At 20 years old, I already had bad credit. But I was still working to repair it. And so, and other agencies rejected me, but I didn't let it stop me. And then finally, in the spring of '88, I passed the exam with Pasadena Police Department because I went to community college, worked on my writing skills, worked on my interviewing and public speaking skills in community college. And finally, I got hired in '88, almost 20 and a half years old. I got hired by Pasadena Police Department. And I went to the police academy at Rio Hondo. And I went to Rio Hondo, and I don't know how I made it, but I almost quit 3 times because it was, grueling. It was because
I've lost sound. Does anybody know what's going on?
I have too. I can't hear you, Mr. Bell.
Okay, hold on a second here. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, okay. And so my mentor was Rick Lopez with LAPD, and he got me through it. And so I got to Pasadena. I worked patrol, worked gangs, I worked undercover narcotics, and worked all through LA because I had a good understanding of all the gangs in LA, of the Hoovers, 8 Trade, Rolling 60s, the Watergate Crips, Denver Lane. I had a good understanding of it because like I said, I was kind of caught up there for a minute, so I had an impact. And so then I decided to leave Pasadena, and I came to Orange County. I worked in the jails. I worked in the courts. The jails are an education unto itself. Even though I have my master's degree now, I tell students that when I teach at La Sierra that the best education I had was working in the court system. I got to work with judges. I provided security for the judges and the courtroom security, high-profile cases, and just listening and learning and seeing, because I had already worked patrol. And so I came to Orange County. I worked in the jails, so I kind of did it backwards. And so I'm working in the courts, and the understanding of the criminal justice system, understanding jury selection, understanding how they pick and how they exclude jurors, understanding the opening statements, prosecutor, how they present information, grand jury hearings, understanding how motions are filed, location. Things are different. We have 58 counties in the state of California. We have 50 states in the nation. And because of federalism, everybody is doing something different. There's nothing that's actually unified. Maybe 1 or 2 cases, Tennessee versus Garner, but for the most part, everybody's kind of doing something different. And so it was a very good understanding education for me. I went to Cal State Long Beach. I don't like to put down any other university. However, when I went to Cal State, I was already a police officer or deputy sheriff, and I used to ask my instructors questions that they couldn't answer, and it was unfortunate because they were more theoretical and they had no practical experience. And even at that point, I told myself that if I ever become any type of instructor or an administrator in higher education, I'm going to make sure that this is not what happens. This is not the style or format or delivery for students who want to learn more about criminal justice. So that shaped the way that I decided to help implement the program here at La Sierra. And so I promoted, and I did various assignments, the Speakers Bureau training program, FTO. I worked covert operations, undercover operations. I worked plainclothes. I worked the Warrant Fugitive Task Force, where we arrested career criminals throughout the state of California. I mean, really just interesting line of work, very interesting line of work, because in public safety, criminal justice, our job is to stop terrorism internationally and abroad. Gang members, gang bangers, they're domestic terrorists is what they are. They're domestic terrorists. And so that's what our job was, to stamp it out and to make sure that our communities are safe, to make sure that our communities are kept, that where you can enjoy the quality of life. I had one judge come speak to my class when I was at Santa Ana Community College teaching, and Judge Hudson, who was the presiding judge of the juvenile justice system, he told our class one time, and he made a point. He said, it's all about ice cream. It's all about ice cream. And I'm looking at the judge, like, what the heck is wrong with this guy? He said, yeah, he's telling the class it's all about ice cream. And I said, Judge, what are you talking about? And he was like, no, man, he's telling the class it's all about ice cream. He says, and he's relating this to quality of life issues, because he put it in a context that at 10:30 at night, can you walk to Dairy Queen or Baskin Robbins and get ice cream without getting hassled or sweated by somebody in your neighborhood? Can you walk to the Dairy Queen at night with your significant other without somebody rolling up on you and saying, hey, bro, hey, what set you from? What you claiming? And quality of life issues. And this is what I was a part of. The team was the Warrant Fugitive Task Force. And our goal and our mission was to keep our communities safe and to arrest career criminals who needed to go to jail and go to state prison. I have 20 years experience in law enforcement. I worked also 10 years experience of bodyguarding celebrities and entertainers. I know you guys are kind of young, but I don't know if you heard of Michael Jackson. I used to bodyguard. I don't know if you heard of Michael Jackson, Randy Jackson. I used to work for Rodney King, a bodyguard Rodney King, President Clinton, his wife, the Prime Minister of Ireland. I worked on a team that provided security for the Duchess of York. Her name was Fergie. I worked also I did Charlie Sheen's second wedding at the Malibu Ranch, and that was quite the scene, especially the way it ended up. And so that was the second wife. And I got a chance to, there was a gentleman who did a movie called Malcolm X, and he got a lot of death threats. His name is Denzel Washington. I provided security for him, Paulette, and his father-in-law, Mr. Pearson. So I stayed with them for 6 months, me and a group of LAPD officers on a rotating shifts to provide security for him and his children. And now to see his son grow up, and now his son is a top superstar actor, it just lets me know I'm getting old. And so 10 years working executive protection, Jodie Foster, just different celebrities, entertainers, and Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Davis, the billionaire in Hollywood, Lou Wasserman, the big studio chief. I've provided security for these individuals and groups, and I've worked at Oscars and security for Grammys and the Soul Train Awards. I worked for Sir Elton John, all of his events and foundation, AIDS awareness. And so that's my experience, 20 years law enforcement, 10 years executive protection. I've been teaching, I've been involved in higher education for 20 years. I wanted to teach high school, but they wouldn't let me because they said, I was too much of a control freak. And so they wouldn't let me teach high school because I just wanted to teach the seniors. And so the seniors, you get it, especially right halfway through the 11th grade, you kind of start saying, okay, what am I doing? Because now you remember when you're in the 9th grade, and now here you are in the 11th grade, you're taking the SATs, ACTs, and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to graduate next year. And I know all of you are concerned about what you're going to do and where you're going to go. I'm here to tell you, don't worry about it. It always works out. Don't worry about it. It works out. Okay. Don't worry about financing, education, costs. Don't worry about it. It always works out. Trust me on this. And so I started teaching at Santa Ana Community College, and then I taught at various other schools. And then Sierra Univeristy inquired of me 11 years ago, 2010. And they asked us to come over and help start a program. The reason I told you my background, not to brag, but just to let you know that the strength of our program is the faculty. Our faculty is amazing. It's predicated and it's built to emulate when I taught at Santa Ana Community College. Because at Santa Ana, we had some of the, great instructors. That's where I got my AA degree. And our instructors from George Wright to just some of the men and women that we had, including myself, who were working there. We had such a strong program. And so I wanted to emulate that. And so one thing about the program, you say, well, why would I want to study at Sierra University criminal justice? And why would I want to major in, and what is criminal justice? Criminal justice is a system of how we handle people who are alleged offenders. In our nation, you are innocent till proven guilty. In theory, you are innocent till proven guilty. And it is a process of how we handle men and women who have been convicted of crimes. And then number 3, it's how we make restitution for the victims. That's the key. O.J. Simpson, we all know that he committed two homicides, and we know O.J. We know Judge Ito. We know Marsha Clark, the DA. We know Christopher Darden. We know about the detective. We know about Mark Furman. But some people forget that 2 people lost their lives, Nicole Simpson and Ron Gold. Restitution. This is not the Old Testament. This is not Old English common law where we do trial by battle and we eye for an eye. We don't do that. But we do have a system that makes restitution. If you get your car burglarized, restitution. If your home is burglarized, restitution. If you get carjacked and we catch the offenders, restitution. That's why our system of justice in America is the best in the world. And trust me, I can tell you this because I have studied not all, but the majority of systems that are industrialized nations like ours. And you talk about jurisprudence, you talk about the rights that we have in our nation. This is by far the best criminal justice system in the world, okay? And so basically, our faculty, we have men and women who have experience, whether it's law enforcement, whether it's intelligence, whether it's courts, whether it's legal, whether it's CSI, whether it's forensic science, whether it's probation, corrections, whether it's mental health, whether it's social work. You're getting experience from men and women who have experience in a wide spectrum, a wide swath of careers and paths that you can take with this degree, okay? And so Sierra University, our program, and the proof is in the pudding, our program is ranked we are the #1 major of the university. We are ranked #1 in the state of California, according to niche.com. Even though they have UCI ahead of us, I don't consider UCI to be a criminal justice program. It's more criminology. It's more theoretical. Or our program, and class, please write this down. The program at Sierra University, criminal justice, is a scholar practitioner. Scholar practitioner. That's a difference. We will study the theories. We will get into the why do people commit crime. Is it biological? Is it sociological? Is it psychological? We will get into all of that. We will dig deep into how do we solve crime. We will get into the analysis. We will get into the legal understanding of it. We will get into the concepts of federalism. We'll get into classical criminology, positivist theory, label theory. We'll get into all the psychobiological theories, but we're also a practitioner program, which means that what you learn, we want you to do. So therefore, we do defensive tactics, weaponless defense, arrest control techniques. We go to the gun range. We have stimulation training, tactical stimulation, evoc simulators. We have a tactical room. We have a courtroom built so that those of you who want to learn, who want to practice law, who want to go to law school, we have a courtroom that you're going to learn how to do motions, how to file motions. You're going to learn how to argue before a judge. You're going to learn what it means to be an advocate, what it means to be a defense. This is what we do. Cutting edge, always cutting edge, folks. This is what we're our program. That's why it's a scholar practitioner type program. A scholar practitioner type program, folks. Okay. Now, are there any questions that I'm going and going? Any of the students, do you have any questions for me? Anybody have any questions that you would like to unmute yourself and ask a question so far about the program? Anybody? Any questions? Any questions? Okay, perfect. And so basically, like I said, the strength of the program is the faculty, and we are a scholar practitioner. I'm going to play a video for you guys, and then after that video, our application is free. For those of you who are seniors, the application is free. Please take advantage of that. If you're considering majoring in criminal justice, and I know it's not for everybody, okay? Because our program, now, if you just want to learn theories and do PowerPoints and all that kind of stuff, then you please go to the other universities. But if you want to learn about the theories and you want to get the know-how, and then because our program is built on 3 components: academic excellence, number 2, applied learning, and number 3, professional development. Professional development. Professional development. That is the key right there. It does you no good to come to Sierra University, study and major in criminal justice, and then you can't get a career. To me, then we have failed you. We have failed you. If that happens, we have failed you. And our goal, we don't promise anybody a job, but we promise you and guarantee you that you will be ready for whatever career path you choose within the world of public safety, criminal justice. You will be prepared. And that's why when you come to our Corona campus, you'll see that on our CJ Hall of Fame, we have students and their pictures all over the wall because our students are working everywhere. They have our fingerprint, our footprint is all over the criminal justice system. We have students that are working Homeland Security. We have students that are working Department of Justice. We have students that are working local law enforcement, county, state. We have students that are working in Honolulu. We have students that are working in Nebraska. We have students that are getting here who've already got working and receiving their PhDs, masters. And so we have students that are working in every field, every aspect. So that's the beauty of our program, is that we want to make sure that you're getting placed. Career development, professional development. Getting hired by the FBI is totally different from getting hired by the Secret Service. Getting hired by the Secret Service is different from getting hired by the ATF. Getting hired by the ATF is totally different from getting hired by LAPD. Every agency, every department has a different philosophical understanding of the person that they want to bring in, him or her, he or she, and they want to make sure that you fit their philosophy and what they're trying to do. Getting hired by Newport Beach Police Department is totally different from getting hired by Irvine, which is different from getting hired by Beverly Hills Police Department, which is different from getting hired by LA Probation, which is different from getting hired in forensic science, crime scene investigation, okay? So the point I'm making to you is that we really work with you to understand which area specifically, after you've heard all the presentations in our program and all the different speakers that you'll hear, all the field trips that you'll take, by your 3rd year as a junior in our program, you'll say, Mr. Bell, or Mr. Johnson, or Mr. Tamada, this is what I want to do. This is where I feel my calling is. Or you might want to go to grad school and continue, because we have several degrees, the master's program, the MBA program. We have the master's in forensic counseling, which is huge because a lot of people are saying defund the police, which is crazy. Yeah, the criminals want us to defund the police. We don't want to defund the police. We want to increase the funding because we want to bring on more mental health workers to work alongside with law enforcement, because today in the 21st century, we're dealing with men and women who not only are drug users, substance abuse users, but we're dealing with men and women who are substance abuse users who also have mental health issues. So therefore, we need both professions working together under the umbrella, under the auspices of criminal justice to help bring about solutions and change. That's 21st century law enforcement. And that's why we're looking for young men and women like yourselves who have the energy, who have the stamina, who can handle the academic rigor of a 4-year university. This is what it's all about, okay? All right, so let me go ahead and share our video here, all right, so let's go ahead. All right, perfect. Can everybody see this? Miss Instructor, Miss Stacy, can you see this?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, perfect. Okay, here we go. All right. Sierra Univeristy, criminal justice, looking for change agents, men and women who want to improve the culture and who want to embrace the community. 85% career placement. The Corona campus, we're located in Corona. The main campus is Riverside, but our campus is in Corona. We have several buildings in Corona. This is exactly what we're talking about. You're going to actually do it, folks. Do it. Get the understanding. How to do it. Learn it and how to do it. Cybercrime, industrial crime, identity theft, homeland security. We have several simulators. And let me tell you why this is important. Because across our nation, we're seeing a lot of controversial shootings. Now, folks, understand that we have over 900,000 men and women who wear the badge. Out of that 900,000, the men and women who are actually using excessive force or controversial cases, you're talking about 0.03%, okay? But it's important because when those cases happen, they're so horrific and they're so sensationalized that it causes the public to want to panic. But this is why we have preempted that. And this is why we're training our students to understand the use of force, from verbal communication all the way to deadly force, how to handle these situations. And this is very important, folks. We have police departments and they come and see what we're offering, and they actually use our technology because it's helping train men and women to understand the use of force, all right? We're gonna be doing defensive tactics. You're gonna be doing weaponless defense. You're gonna be doing grappling, okay? PT training. If you are lazy, then don't even think about this program. If you're lazy, don't even think about it. If you don't like writing, you don't like comprehension, you don't like working out, please don't just, but if you say, well, hey, listen, the learning aspect, the practical application, this is where you want to be, my friends, okay? De-escalation, very important. Knowing how to talk to men and women, good communication skills. You treat men like men. You treat women like women. Even the ones that are difficult, you still treat them with respect. Still treat them. De-escalation techniques. We have a courtroom built into the class, as I've told you before. Now, this is very important, folks. Very important right here. PT training, okay? Good physical health leads to good mental health. Good physical health leads to good mental health. With your degree in criminal justice, you have several options, folks. The reason you want to get your degree is, number one, you'll start out making more money because you're going to get paid more. Number two, you're going to promote faster. And number three, you have more career options. With a degree, you can work local, you can work county, you can work state, you can work federal, FBI, ATF, Postal Inspector, DEA, Air Marshal, Secret Service, DMV on the state level, ABC, Alcohol, Beverage Control, Department of Fish and Game, Department of Insurance. So as you can see, there are lots of positions here. This is just a small sampling. Then you go into corrections. If you want to work in corrections, if you want to work probation, parole, juvenile correction, gang counsel, youth advocate, or forensic science, as you can see, deputy coroner, ballistics, evidence technician. If you want to work in the courts, you say, hey, that's, being out like that's not for me. Well, here it is. This degree leads into court mediation, victim witness, courtroom assistant, legal aspect, paralegal, legal assistant, office manager, criminal defense interpreter, criminal defense investigator. private security, executive protection, cybersecurity. Our population, this is really interesting. This is flipped on a dime. Our population is 70% female, 30% male. The chief of Riverside Police Department came in and he asked, he said, how in the world did you, he loved it because he says, how did you get all these women into your program? And I said, well, part of it is because of the maturity factor. And then number two, I said, women understand. We let women know that, hey, this is not just a man's, anybody can do this. Matter of fact, as I told you, we need all hands on deck in order to combat the issues that we're dealing with in America. We need black, white, brown, red, yellow, male, female, everybody on all hands on deck. All you need, please write this down. In order to be accepted to La Sierra University, all you need is a 2.75 GPA. 2.75 GPA, weighted or unweighted. Okay, complete your A through G requirements. If you're missing one, that's not a problem. We don't even need your SAT or ACT scores. I know some of you may have already taken them. Some of you didn't get a chance to take them. All you need is a 2 points. We're waiving the SAT requirement, ACT, SAT requirement. So all you need is a 2.75. Everybody, please do your FAFSA. Please do the FAFSA. You say your parents make a lot of money. I don't care. Do the FAFSA. Everybody, you might be eligible for Cal Grant. You may be eligible for Pell Grant. You may be eligible for FSEOG. Everybody will receive a scholarship regardless of your parents' income situation, up to $15,000. Okay. All right. Now, if you want to, and if you don't receive Cal Grant, Pell Grant, FSEOG, and you say, Mr. Bell, I really want to come to this program, then we will work with you and your parents. That's why our scholarship is up to $15,000, folks. Okay. So please take advantage. The application is free. You don't need SAT scores. Make sure FAFSA is open right now. Your teachers and counselors will do your GPA verification, and they will submit that to CSAC for Cal Grant. Okay. Now, please write this down right here, www.lasierra.edu. Very important right here, folks. This is the webpage, and I'm going to take you there in a second here, www.lasierra.edu/CJ, okay? Our application is free. Everybody write that down. The application is free. The application is free, folks, okay? The application is free, and this is www.lasierra.edu/CJ. This is the easiest application that you will ever fill out in your life. Trust me, okay? It is the easiest application. It talks about the La Sierra Advantage, why you would want to study, why criminal justice, and then here are our areas of concentration: law enforcement, corrections, forensic science, and we're also working on putting together a minor in business and some other areas too that we're working on right now, okay? So you would click right here, apply to CJ now, and the application will come up. Very simple. All you have to do is type of application, criminal justice, student type, new freshman, campus, Corona, okay? Term, fall 2021. And that's amazing, class, because some of you are juniors, next year this time you'll be seniors. And for those of you who are seniors, next year this time you'll be entering your first year of college. And so just your name, we need your cell number. Please put your cell number in, and then contact information, very simple, very easy. Personal information, please put your date of birth and your citizenship. Even if you are a DREAM Act student, that's fine. We still accept DREAM Act students too, and we work with them financially to get them in. So get that in, get that done. Your high school will be Lake Elsinore High School, and that's easy, simple. You don't need to write a statement. We don't need a statement. We don't need references. Your values, I understand, check that box. Have you ever been convicted, pled guilty to a misdemeanor or felony? You'll say no, but if you have been convicted of a felony, then you cannot major in criminal justice. And it depends on if you have been convicted of a misdemeanor as a juvenile, which is, I mean, really, that would be really tough because you probably wouldn't even be here right now. And so, but you'll check no. And have you ever been suspended? Put no. We don't want to know about a fight in the third grade over some Twinkies or something like. We don't care about that. And then you don't need to upload anything. And then all you got to do is click here, submit. And that's it. Your application is completed. That is the easiest application that you will ever attempt in your life, folks. Trust me on this. That is the easiest application, okay? And so now let me just give you some other information about our program as our time is winding down here. If any of you, Ms. Stacy, do they have the ability to chat me by chance on this system?
They do, yes.
Okay, students, now I have more information. I have brochures. I have more information specifically about careers that goes a little bit more in depth. I have information about contacts with the program, including myself and also our academic coaches. Now, because you're coming from high school to the university, it's a challenge. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not hard. It's not easy. There is a degree of difficulty. But let me tell you, people are getting it done. Our retention rate is 92%. We don't lose a lot of students because students understand that we are a family and we are working on your behalf to ensure your success. We need you to succeed through this program. We have need of you. We do. We have need of you. And listen, we have need of you. We have need of students to work in every facet of criminal justice, which is an exciting career. And like I said, I did it. I have 30 years experience working law enforcement and executive protection combined. Just the contacts, the people I've met, the opportunities that it has presented me, the doors that it has opened for me. And it wasn't always about arresting everybody. I usually ask my students, can you take the boy from the hood and get the hood out the boy? And students go, nah, Mr. Bell, nah, it's a lost cause. And yeah, some say, yeah, you can. And yes, you can. Yes, you can. It takes education. It takes the law. It takes law enforcement. It takes the church, business. It takes community active. It takes everybody. So in order for us to ensure the success of our young men and women, you are not children anymore. I look at you guys as young men and women who are presently right now. You have your eye on the present and you have your eye on the future. And some of you say, well, Mr. Bell, man, I messed up last week, man. I might have smoked some weed. I might have did this last week, 2 weeks, a month ago. Hey, whatever happened yesterday, it's over with. Whatever you did yesterday, whatever bad habits you may have had yesterday or last week or last month, that's over with. When I got hired, I told them, yeah, I used to sling, I used to sell dope, I was using, and they said, well, what happened? I said, hey, I woke up. And I said, I determined that by the grace of God, that this is not for me. And this is what I'm doing today. And I'm going to tell you guys the same thing. Whatever happened last week, last month, forget about it. You only have two eyes, an eye on the present and an eye on the future. You don't have a third eye on the past. We don't need you looking back, because when you look back, it slows down your progress, okay? Continue to move forward. And so our academic coaches and myself and our team, our financial counselors, we are here to make sure that you move forward, okay? We will become your family, okay? We are going to grind together. We're going to push together. If you decide to major in criminal justice here at La Sierra, and you become, and because we are preparing you not just to graduate, we're preparing you to lead. That's the expectation. The expectation is that you will push forward and that you will get a great career. And I know it's not about the money, but let me tell you, money does help. I have one student who just got hired several months ago by Irvine Police Department. Starting salary was $100,000 a year. And I almost slapped myself, because when I started in law enforcement, I was only making like $35,000 a year, and this dude is starting at $100,000 a year. Great paying career. They also have money tuition reimbursement for because we want our police officers and our deputy sheriffs and our state, we want our officers and our detectives, we want them to have degrees, because studies have shown that men and women who have a degree are 70% less likely to use excessive force, okay? And so therefore, by you coming into the program, you're going to hear from different instructors, and yeah, we can always agree to disagree. That's perfect. We don't want a bunch of sheep. We want men and women who are going to come in and learn how to create their own frame of reference, but yet you can also come up with new strategies. You know, I used to work undercover narcotics in the high schools in the 80s, and that stuff don't work anymore. This stuff, everything's computer based now. That's why the postal inspectors, which is a great career, I mean, it has become much more sophisticated on how we apprehend criminals, identity theft, cybercrime. And so I'll just give you this one story. I had one case in Orange County where a young child was abducted. Bad things happened. And we caught the perpetrator, and he is on death row. But the way that he was convicted, because this is a science, folks. Criminal justice is a science. The tears, the DNA of the victim was on the body of the perpetrator. And that evidence was used to corroborate and to put him on death row right now. This is why you're going to study, folks. This is what you're going to study. This is what you're going to come into the understanding, how we now use math formulas, physics, to determine where crimes are going to occur. Okay, so now we can project, and that way we can saturate target areas. Okay, and so this is really important, folks. Understanding bias training, implicit, the implicit bias, unconscious bias. We're dealing with tearing down all the stereotypes, tearing that stuff down so that way that we can thrive and work together with our community, folks. Okay. So if you would like more information about our program, please chat me your name, your contact number, and your email address. Okay. Chat me that right now if you would like to get more information. And then I will email you this afternoon the information. And also, like I said, you don't have to wait to apply. Go ahead. The application is open now. It is free. Because we're a private university, we have a rolling admissions. So, and then you have my information. I'm going to check. Let me see. I want to see if I can write my information on here somewhere. Let's see.
Mr. Bell, I have a survey for them to complete after each presentation, and it asks on there if they want more information, and then I'm going to send all those results to you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, got it. Okay. Listen, folks, and then real quick, we got 8 minutes left. Anybody have any questions? Any questions? Are there any questions for me by chance? Any questions? Okay. The program is 190 units. 190 units. You say that's a lot. Not really, because it's 4 years, and most of our students are graduating 4 years or less. Because we're on a quarter system, and we're going fall, winter, and spring. And yes, it's online right now because of the pandemic. And the students, listen, I'm not blowing smoke. I really commend all of you. Because if this had happened when I was in high school, we would have been, oh my God, it would have been a disaster because we had no computers back then. And and it's amazing that you guys have sucked it up and you're getting it done. You're getting it done. And so we're on a fall quarter, we're on a quarter system. We started 3 weeks ago. We'll be done in December. We come back January. We're done spring break. We come back in April, and we're done in June. And so the program moves. We offer many opportunities for those of you who would like to work as police cadets, internships with the Secret Service, U.S. Marshals, FBI, internships with the DA's office, probation department. So that way, while you're in college, you're gaining that experience while you're in college. And that's the goal. Because everything that you do, whether you're working at McDonald's, Jack in the Box, In-N-Out Burger, whether you're working in retail, whether you're working in Amazon, all of this stuff will help you land the career that you want. Trust me, everything that you do, there's a way to apply it to where you want to go in life. It does. And I can tell you right now, every job that I've had has prepared me for this moment where I am today. And I look at it right now, what I'm doing right now is preparing me for the next level, for what I'm going to do in my next chapter in my life. So everything that you guys are doing right now, trust me, we will show you, especially in that professional development, how to write your resume letters, how to write your cover letters, how to fill out a background packet. We always tell students, do not submit any background packet until you've run it past us, so that way we can go through it with you. Okay, tattoos. Students go, well, Mr. Bell, can I get a tattoo still? Yes, you can, but you got to be careful what kind of tattoos you get. We don't want you getting a spider web tattoo on your elbow because that's a prison tat. We don't want you getting any teardrops underneath your eyes, and you know what that means. We don't want you getting anything on your hands and little dots on your hand. So there's little things. Your social media. We're in professional development. We're going to cover all of that. So our program is on a quarter system. You take 12 to 18 units per quarter. You're going to take 80 units in the major, 80 units of university studies, and 30 units of electives, 190 units. And let me tell you, folks, it goes by so fast and make your head spin. But it's a great program. I encourage all of you who are interested in criminal justice majoring. If you're thinking and if you're saying this is something I want to do, I strongly urge you to consider Sierra University Criminal Justice Program. I want to thank all of you for your time this morning. Thank you. We're going to continue to push for all of you, even if you decide not to major in criminal justice. Please continue to reach out to me if you have questions regarding the criminal justice system. I am accessible. Our program is community-based. We're community-based. I can't tell you how many students I've had from Cal State, Cal Poly, and other universities come and meet with us because in their program, they were not taught interview skills. They weren't taught confidence. They weren't taught how to win. They weren't taught on how to get the understanding of the position that they want. And real quick, I know our time is getting away from me, but one thing that we also do is the field trips. Our field trips are amazing. Folks, we're going to take you down to Border Patrol. You're going to get to go in to see some of the tunnels that are dug out. Because right now, Border Patrol, everybody thinks that's all about stopping undocumented individuals. And that's not their mission. The mission of Border Patrol is to stop that narco-terrorist war that's permeated that's trying to permeate through our border. We are dealing with, folks, if some of you will come with us and you'll get to see what's going on. You'll see some of these tunnels that are big as football fields where, I mean, and see the Mexican cartels, the marijuana, that's old news. They're not doing that anymore because most of that, because in America, we're legalizing a lot of that. So the cartels are like, well, we don't need to do that anymore. Now they're pushing fentanyl, opiates. In the Midwest and back east, oh my, it is. On the West Coast, in LA, crack and marijuana, that's the big problem. Inland Empire, meth. But in the Midwest and back east, folks, this fentanyl is 50 times more powerful than heroin. And so the narco terrorists, you'll take field trips to LAPD, you'll see the SWAT team, and folks, people on TV, you see that stuff on SWAT. Don't pay attention to that mess. The goal of SWAT is first to negotiate. Negotiate. They don't want to breach the door or flash bang the side of the house. That they want to negotiate and get the suspect to surrender. And so that's why there's a misnomer about SWAT, special weapons and tactics. But this is why the education, the eye opener, because we take you to the professionals and we bring the professionals to you. You're going to go to the courthouse. You're going to take a field trip to the crime scene lab. You're going to see what it's like, man, to go and see what a live autopsy, which is crazy, man. I mean, blood spatter analysis, ballistics, if you're into forensic science and if you like the whole science and blood and all that DNA stuff, because now, and this is my last point, this is so scientific, they're using, in order to cold cases, homicides that have happened 20, 30 years ago, we're now using family DNA to find the perpetrator, which is amazing. I don't want to go too far into it, but it is so amazing, okay? And so, folks, listen, this is what you're going to learn in our program, folks. Like I said, we're in the business of staying current. We're in the business of producing leaders. We're in the business of producing men and women who want to succeed and who want to put forth an effort to help keep our nation a better and perfect union. But like I said, protests, talking about it, that's cool. Participation is better. We need men and women who want to get involved and who want to take the fight to crime to keep our nation safe. All right. So thank you for this morning. If you have any questions of me, we have a few minutes left. I'm here for the next 2 minutes and I'm going to be on here. So you guys take care. Students, have a great year. We'll be praying for your success. God bless all of you.